Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Jessie Lingard and Donny van der Beek transfer frustration. Now Jessie Lingard is angered and disrespected as Manchester United block his move to Newcastle. Sky Sports said earlier on today that Newcastle are prepared to pay a loan fee for Manchester United forward Jessie Lingard, as well as the player's full wages. Yesterday, it said Newcastle made a 10 million loan offer for Jessie Lingard. Manchester United rejected Newcastle's first approach. Lingard's already made it clear that he's keen on a loan move to Newcastle, but Manchester United would prefer to let Lingard leave permanently this month. Tottenham also want Lingard. I think West Ham still want to re-sign him. At the second half of last season, Lingard endured a 4-month loan spell with West Ham and he made an impact. Lingard's out of contract at Man United in the summer. Lingard doesn't get in our team, but he has been part of the club for a long time. Now, obviously on my last video, I gave you the news on Donny van der Beek. Now, Ralph Rangnick is reluctant to allow Donny van der Beek to join Crystal Palace. Any loan move for Van der Beek will not include an option to buy, as Manchester United intend on keeping Van der Beek for next season. Crystal Palace are interested in signing Donny van der Beek on loan until the end of the season. It also mentioned that Valencia want him on loan. Everton have been in for Van der Beek. Van der Beek should have gone to Everton last summer. Earlier on this season, Bayern Munich went in for him. Newcastle have made an approach for him, but I think Van der Beek rejected Newcastle. You can't blame Van der Beek for wanting to leave the club because he doesn't get enough opportunities. You know, he didn't get enough opportunities under Solskjaer, and he certainly hasn't been given enough opportunities under Rangnick. Van der Beek's only scored 2 goals for the club. He's been a Manchester United player for almost 2 years now. Manchester United got Van der Beek for 40 million with add-ons included. He's got a contract with Man United until 2025. There's an option of a further year, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. Now, you know the news on Anthony Martial. He has joined Sevilla on loan until the end of the season. He arrived in Spain earlier on today ahead of his loan move to Sevilla. There is no option to buy and there's no loan fee. Well, at the first it said Sevilla will pay up to a 5 million loan fee. Sevilla are paying Anthony Martial's full wages until June. So good luck to Anthony Martial in La Liga. Are Manchester United going to make a signing before the January transfer window shuts? The transfer window shuts in under a week. Manchester United have been linked with a lot of players. Now, there's been a lot of narratives coming out about Boubacar Kamara from Marseille. Spanish outlet Marca said that Manchester United are in pole position to sign Marseille midfielder Boubacar Kamara. Marseille want just £10 million. Boubacar Kamara wants in the region of £150,000 a week if he's to depart Marseille this month. Leeds have been in for him, Aston Villa have been in for him, and Marca said that Real Madrid and Barcelona enquired about his services. Boubacar Kamara is out of contract at Marseille in the summer. Being a very long-serving player at Marseille, he's been with them for 17 years. You know, he's risen up their academy. He joined Marseille's academy in 2005. Since he broke into Marseille's senior squad, he's made over 100 appearances. Kamara's only 22. He's predominantly a defensive midfielder, but he can be deployed as a centre-back. There's been narratives coming out saying that Manchester United reportedly sent scouts to watch Porto winner Luis Diaz. And he said Manchester United are weighing up a bid. Liverpool have been linked with Luis Diaz. Now Tottenham are in talks with Porto, and Tottenham are willing to pay £46 million for him. It said earlier on that Tottenham made a bid of over £37 million. Luis Diaz has a £67 million release clause. He's got 2.5 years left on his contract at Porto. Porto got Luis Diaz from Junior. They paid €7 million. Manchester United have been relentlessly linked with Dennis Zakaria from Borussia Mönchengladbach. The other day it said Ralf Rangnick is pressing to sign Amadou Haidara this month. Sky Sports Germany did say the other day that RB Leipzig could sell Amadou Haidara for £46 million in this January transfer window. Earlier on in this window, it said Ralf Rangnick verbally agreed a £33 million fee to sign Amadou Haidara. Manchester United are trying to get a midfielder. You know, because when Rangnick first came in, he identified Manchester United's midfield as a weakness. So there you go. Manchester United recently beat West Ham 1-0 at Old Trafford. Reflecting on the win against West Ham, it moved Manchester United into the top 4. So the top 4 race is now on. The goal against West Ham came from Marcus Rashford in the 93rd minute of stoppage time. You know, Marcus Rashford came off the bench. Rashford also came off the bench in the 3-1 win against Brentford that ended his 3-month goal drought. So Rashford has 2 goals in his last 2 games. After the West Ham game, Rangnick said that Rashford is one of the top strikers in England. But it is good that Rashford has found some form, because he has endured a lot of poor games since he had that operation on his shoulder. And a lot of United fans, including me, have said, you know, he hasn't been the same player since he had that operation on his shoulder. And reflecting on the win against West Ham, by the way, it was the first time Man United had back-to-back wins under Rangnick. Ralf Rangnick has managed 10 games so far as Manchester United's interim manager. He's only lost 1 game so far. He's been Manchester United's interim manager for almost 2 months now, hasn't he? Ralph Rangnick is Man United's interim manager until the end of this season, and then it did say Rangnick will continue in a consultancy role for a further 2 years. Do you think that Man United could offer Ralph Rangnick the job on a permanent basis? Well, actually, Gary Neville has backed Ralph Rangnick for the permanent Man United role. Revert back to earlier on this season, there was reports coming out saying that Rangnick is already losing the dressing room at Man United, and it did mention that 17 Manchester United players were unhappy and wanted to leave. But despite that, revert back to earlier on this month, Rangnick got told that he has transfer funds available this month and he will be backed by the Glazers. Prior to the Brentford game, Rangnick announced Manchester United's new formation. It's the 4-3-3 formation. That formation seems to suit our standards under Rangnick. Rangnick scrapped the 4-2-2 formation because quite clearly that formation wasn't working. Rangnick's brought 3 additions in. Earlier on this season, he brought Ewan Sharp in as an assistant coach and analyst. He also brought Chris Armas in as an assistant coach, and he brought Saj Chalens in as a sports psychologist. Before Man United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. Rangnick earns $180,000 at Man United, but he does receive a £500,000 bonus if he leads Manchester United to a top 4 finish. Now, the other day, it said Manchester United have drawn up a 4-man shortlist to replace Rangnick in the summer. The Athletic said that Mauricio Pochettino, Eric Ten Hag, Luis Enrique and Jalen Lopetegui are the top candidates. Well, not so long ago, Rangnick said that he wants Eric Ten Hag to become Manchester United's manager in the summer. Manchester United looking for the 5th permanent manager since Ferguson retired. We've sacked 4 permanent managers since Ferguson retired. We sacked David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, and last year Manchester United sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. As you all know, Ed Woodward is stepping down at Manchester United at the end of this month. Ed Woodward has had, a 17-year association at the club. Ed Woodward's been one of the biggest problems at Manchester United for a long time. He really, really has. It got announced back in April last year that Woodward was leaving when that European Super League came into the equation. On the 1st of February, it said Richard Arnold will become Man United's chief executive to replace Ed Woodward. The Glazers, they're still at Manchester United. The Glazers have owned Manchester United for 16 and a half years. The Glazers bought Manchester United for $500 million back in 2005. Revert back to April last year though, there was Manchester United fans protesting against the Glazers at the Carrington training ground and at Old Trafford because obviously at that point the Glazers were planning to scrap the Champions League for that European Super League. Now, Manchester United have got some very good players, but on the other side of things there's also inconsistent players as well. We've got the best player in the world overall in Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo did recently play against West Ham and I thought he did well. He played a part in Rashford's winner and he could have won a penalty in that first half. Prior to the West Ham game, Ronaldo was a doubt because he picked up a neck injury, but obviously recovered from the neck injury. Ronaldo was frustrated when he was substituted against Brentford, but Ralph Rangnick defended his decision to substitute Ronaldo against Brentford. The other week, don't forget, Ronaldo gave an interview and he was very critical of the youngsters. So reflecting on that, he's demanding more from the youngsters. And obviously Ronaldo was backing Rangnick to do a good job at Man United. And Ronaldo also said, I'm not at Man United to compete for 6th or 7th. He said finishing below 3rd is unacceptable. Don't forget, Ronaldo faces a 25% pay cut should Manchester United failed to qualify for the Champions League. Well, it said Ronaldo will leave Man United in the summer if they fail to qualify for the Champions League. You know, since Ronaldo re-signed, he's scored 14 goals in all competitions and he's got over 800 goals in his career. Manchester United re-signed Ronaldo last summer for 20 million. With add-ons included. He wears a number 7 shirt and he's got a contract with Man United until 2023. There's an option of a further year. Ronaldo receives £480,000 a week at Manchester United, so he's the highest earner at the club at the moment. He's the best player in the world overall, won over 30 trophies in his playing career, including 5 Ballon d'Ors. Now, we've got Anthony Elanga. You know, he looks a very good asset for the first team squad. You know, he's made quite a few first team appearances now. Elanga played against West Ham recently. He played very, very well. You know, his link-up play was good at times, kept the ball well, got into good positions, and he was skillful at times as well. Elanga also scored in the 3-1 win against Brentford. That was his first goal of the season. He did well against Brentford. He also did well in the 2-2 draw against Aston Villa because he had a couple of chances in that game. Anthony Elanga's been part of the club for a long time. He risen up our academy in that. He joined Manchester United's academy at the age of 12. I think Elanga's now, 19, so he is still very young. I heard earlier on this season that he could be going out on loan to a championship club. Anthony Elanga. Last year, Elanga committed his future to the club because he signed a new contract with Man United until June 2026. There's an option of a further year. We've got Mason Greenwood now. He's a talented player. Greenwood did recently play against West Ham, was good. He scored in the 3-1 win against Brentford. Greenwood weren't brilliant in the 2-2 draw against Aston Villa. He was greedy at times in that game, but he had quite a lot of chances against Villa, but unfortunately he didn't convert them chances. Don't forget, Greenwood had COVID earlier on this season. He did mention that Greenwood was upset that Ronaldo always starts. And revert back to 2019, Manchester United offered Mason Greenwood a life-changing amount of money for him to leave. Greenwood made his senior debut for Man United back in 2019. He's been a United player since the age of 7, so he's been part of the club for a long time. And last season, Greenwood signed a new 4-year contract. Didn't he? Now, we've got Jaden Sancho. Now, he hasn't been too good, has he? He's done nowhere near as well as a lot of Manchester United fans expected of him, but it does take some players time to settle in. Sancho's missed the last couple of games due to personal reasons. Revert back to when we had Solskjaer, we couldn't get the best out of Sancho, because obviously Solskjaer did persistently play him out of position. There was quite a few games Sancho didn't even play in under Solskjaer. I think the best games Sancho's enjoyed since he signed for the club was the games against Chelsea and Villarreal away. You know, his performances were good and he scored in both of them games. To Sancho's credit, he did well in the 3-1 win against Burnley, but unfortunately was denied a goal. Sancho enjoyed 4 good years at Borussia Dortmund before he signed for Man United. Man United got Sancho for 78 million with add-ons included. Man United paid 73 million up front. Sancho's got a contract with the club until June 2026. There's an option of a further year. Manchester United have got Juan Mata now. Don't have a great deal of a perception on him anymore because Juan Mata obviously doesn't get in the team. He lost his place in the team a while ago, didn't he? And he's lost that yard of pace and he's ageing up. But despite that, he's had a good career at Manchester United. By the way, Juan Mata has been at Manchester United for 8 years. He's made 276 appearances in all competitions and he's scored 51 goals. Revert back to 2020, Juan Mata rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. Manchester United got Mata from Chelsea back in 2014. We paid, 37.1 million for him from Chelsea. Obviously, we've got Edinson Cavani. Now, I think Edinson Cavani is a good player. He did come on recently in the game against West Ham and he got the assist for Marcus Rashford's winning goal. A lot of people said, though, that Edinson Cavani was offside in the build-up to the goal. Cavani's just recently come back from injury. Earlier on this season, he had a couple of injuries. I think Cavani will leave Man United in the summer. I can't see him leaving this month, unless he does. But earlier on this season, Rangnick revealed that Edinson Cavani wants to stay at Manchester United until the end of the season. Cavani's out of contract at Man United in the summer. Manchester United got Cavani on a free transfer from PSG back in the summer of 2020. Well, Cavani's been linked with Barcelona because last year it said Cavani agreed to join Barcelona on an 18-month contract. Juventus went in for him and last year Cavani rejected a move to Boca Juniors. We've got Marcus Rashford as well. Like I said, he's done well in his last 2 games, but obviously he's had a lot of poor performances since he had the operation on his shoulder. Not so long ago, Rashford recovered from a minor leg injury. Marcus Rashford has been part of the club for a long time. He's been a United player since the age of 7 and he broke into our senior squad back in 2016. He's made nearly 300 appearances for Man United in all competitions. Rashford has 18 months left on his current £200,000 a week deal. Earlier on this season it said Marcus Rashford prepares to open contract talks with Manchester United. Obviously we've got Bruno Fernandez. Bruno Fernandez is one of our best players and he's certainly one of the best signings we've made since Ferguson retired. Of course, Fernandez recently played against West Ham. He was anonymous, I thought, against West Ham recently. I thought Fernandez was far superior in the games against Brentford and Aston Villa in the league. Fernandez got 2 assists against Brentford and he scored both of Man United's goals in the 2-2 draw against Aston Villa. I think the games against Brentford and Villa are the best games that Fernandez has enjoyed so far this season because he has had a lot of poor games this season, if I'm going to be honest with you. Now, The Athletic said the other week that Bruno Fernandez rejected a contract offer from Manchester United. It said Bruno Fernandez contract talks are postponed until the summer, having turned down an offer last year. It said Bruno Fernandez is demanding similar money to the top earners at Man United. Fernandez receives £100,000 a week at the moment. Fernandez is under contract with Man United until 2025. There's an option of a further year. He's been a Manchester United player for 2 years. Got him from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020. Of course, we've got Jessie Lingard. Don't get in the team, does he, like I mentioned earlier. Hopefully, he can leave the club. We've got Van der Beek, good player, but like I said, haven't had a great deal of a perception on him. We need to move Van der Beek on. Of course, we've got Scott McTominay. He's been our best performer under Rangnick. McTominay, he was good against West Ham. He was very good against Brentford. He was involved in the build-up to 2 of the goals against Brentford. He missed a 2-2 draw against Villa because of suspension. And he was very good in the cup game against Aston Villa. Got man of the match The only goal that game in the cup against Villa came from Scott Mctominay. You know, Mctominay has been part of the club for a long time, hasn't he? Came up our academy. Back in 2020, Mctominay signed a 5-year contract with Man United. Manchester United have also got Fred. I don't rate him, to be honest with you. I don't think he's good enough to represent the club. You know, Fred Dorr has had his good games this season, especially under Rangnick. Manchester United got Fred a few years ago from Shakhtar Donetsk. Got him for around £50 million. We've also got Matic. You know, Matic not good enough to represent the club. We need to move him on this year. Matic is out of contract at Man United in the summer. Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but despite that, he still seems to get his opportunities, doesn't he? Matic is the only predominant centre defensive midfielder Man United have got. Matic has been at Man United for 5 years, paid around £40 million for him from Chelsea back in 2017. We've got Paul Pogba. He is injury prone, which is a concern, but you know, Pogba is a good player. He's not only a good player, he's an imperative player as well. Pogba will probably leave Man United in the summer. Well, Paul Pogba's out of contract at Man United in the summer. Revert back to the other month, the Sun said that Manchester United offered Paul Pogba a £500,000 a week contract. That would have made Pogba the highest paid player in Premier League history, but Pogba actually denied being offered that contract. Pogba's been out of injury for a while, but the good news is that Pogba is set to return to action after the international break. Rangnick confirmed that the other week. This season is Pogba's 6th season at Man United since he rejoined. He's won 3 trophies at the club so far, and Manchester United paid £89 million for him, so reflecting on that, he's our most expensive signing at the moment. We had Pogba when he was a lot younger under the Ferguson era, but had to let him go due to limited appearances. We've got Alex Telles. You know, he's a good left back. He's our first choice left back under Rangnick. His performances have been good in some games this season, especially under Rangnick. You know, Telles played very well against West Ham recently, was very energetic, very creative, you know, got in some good positions. You know, Telles has been subjected to transfer speculation before. Been hearing that Barcelona are interested in him. The reason we brought Telles in was to provide competition for Shaw. Earlier on this season he had an injury. Revert back to ...2020. That's when Man United got Telles. We got him from Porto for what, 15.4 million. You know, we've got Luke Shaw now. He's a good left back overall, but you know, Luke Shaw has endured a lot of poor games this season, and I'm shocked in that aspect because revert back to last season, Luke Shaw was very, very good. He was probably the best left back in the Premier League last season. Luke Shaw's just recently picked up an injury. He had a couple of injuries earlier on this season. He is injury prone, which is a concern. Shaw's been at Manchester United for 8 years now, so he's been a long-serving player. You know, we've got quite a few centre-backs in the team as well. You know, I've got Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire not good enough to represent the club. He's been very poor this season. Man United will look to sell Maguire in the summer. We need to take the captaincy off him. Maguire just recovered from injury not so long ago. He had a calf injury earlier on this season and he had ligament damage in his ankle towards the end of last season. Harry Maguire certainly wasn't worth the £80 million that Manchester United paid for him. He's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment and the second most expensive signing at the club. Maguire's been at Man United for over 2 years now, hasn't he? Obviously, we've got Eric Bailly. He's a good centre-half, but, he doesn't get in the team much, does he? He lost his place in the team a while ago, obviously with the club signing Varane last summer, and for some reason Lindelof's been preferred to Bailly. Bailly's not available at the moment anyway because it's the African Cup of Nations. The last game he played for Man United was the 3-1 win against Burnley, but he obviously came off injured in that game. Bailly's injury prone, which is a concern. He is. Earlier on in this window, it said that Damasio said that Bailly agreed to join AC Milan. It said AC Milan wanted him on loan. We revert back to April last year. Bailly signed a contract with Man United until 2024. There's an option of a further year. Manchester United got Bailly under the Jose Mourinho, where Manchester United paid, £30 million for him from Villarreal. We've also got Phil Jones. He's a centre-back. Jones doesn't get in the team, does he? Jones did play in the 1-0 defeat to Wolves, though, because Maguire picked up an injury. And Jones was our best player against Wolves. It was Jones' first Premier League appearance since January 2020. Did you know that Jones is only the outfield player that's still with us from the Ferguson era? This season's is his 11th season at Man United, so he has been a long-serving player. At one point, Jones was out with a knee injury for a while. We've also got Victor Lindelof. He's a centre-back. He's not good enough to represent the club. Manchester United need to move him on this year. Lindelof's out at the moment due to personal reasons. Recently, his house got robbed. That's why he played no part against West Ham. Lindelof's been at the club for over 4 years. Manchester United got him from Benfica back in 2017, paid £31 million for him. Lindelof's under contract with Man United until 2024. We've also got Raphael Varane as well. He's a very good centre-half. Obviously one of our first choice centre-halves. Most of the time when Varane plays, he seems to make the difference. He played well against West Ham recently, also made an impact in the 3-1 win against Brentford. They're probably the best games he's had since he come back from that hamstring injury. Varane is regarded as one of the best centre-halves in the world, isn't he? He's highly experienced and he's got a good pedigree behind him. Look at the amount of silverware he won when he was at Real Madrid. Varane. We got Varane for 41 million with add-ons included. Man United paid around 34 million up front. Varane's got a contract with Man United till 2025 as an option of a further year. And obviously we've got 2 right backs. Obviously we've got Diego Dalot. He's our first choice right back under Rangnick. Dalot's had some good games this season, especially under Rangnick. Dalot was very good against West Ham recently. We've got Wan-Bissaka. He's no longer first choice. He was our first choice right back under Solskjaer. Bissaka's not good enough. Man United are considering selling him in the summer, and Wan-Bissaka. And, the goalkeepers, we've got De Gea, very good goalkeeper. He's done really well this season. He's now back to his best. De Gea had very little to do, though, against West Ham recently. Our second choice keeper, Dean Henderson, we'll be looking to get rid of him permanently this year because he doesn't get in goal now. And our third choice goalkeeper is Tom Heaton. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.